Tirzepatide maintenance, 7 dietitian secrets for your continued Zepbound success and Mounjaro success. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth. I am Countess of Shopping. I've lost over 113 pounds the last, almost 3 years. In January, it will be 3 full years of being on Zepbound, Mounjaro, and Tirzepatide compound, which is GLP-1 plus GIP. Not at the same time, the variations are those because of the shortages. And on today's episode, I am basically in maintenance. I basically have hit my goal weight and wanted to talk about what my dietitian is helping me lean into and how it can best be a service for you for your weight loss journey. As always, I am never giving medical advice. Always talk to your own dietitian, always talk to your own healthcare provider. This is simply my experience, strength, and hope of what's worked really well for me. Going from being over 300 pounds overweight to doing things like this and this and this. Like, I would not be doing all the stuff that I'm doing if it wasn't for GLP-1. And so let's deep dive into shifting our brains from being in weight loss mode, calorie deficit mode, into maintenance mode. And what does Tirzepatide maintenance look like? Well, first and foremost, for everyone, it is different. However, it is critical for maintenance. It is the true test of once one loses the weight, and I'll use my I statements, once I've lost the weight, it is critical and it is the true test of continuing this healthy lifestyle journey. Can I keep the ball rolling, so to speak, of keeping the weight off? And for me, over the last almost 3 years, that has always been secretly like my fear of, oh, I'm gonna gain it all back. When's the shoe gonna drop? When am I gonna go back? Because every single diet I've done since elementary school, by the way, can many of you relate to that? First diets from elementary school, I've gained it all back. And I have been very afraid that I would do that with GLP-1. And I realize that's not actually true. That is a lie. And we need to speak truth, and what we say matters. And for me, the framework, this is my house. It's my Tirzepatide framework house of building a foundation for really good maintenance for me. Now, take what you want, leave the rest from some of my tips. There's 7 tips. You're definitely going to want to stay till number 6 because the count and I have massively debated that one. But Tirzepatide framework, there's 7 pieces of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this framework that are going to best lead to success. The first one that I have that I know that you know, but maybe you're not implementing it as best as you could be, is a shield. You guys know I love Avengers. Shields up. Is that from Avengers? What movie is that from? Shields up. It could be from many of them, I guess. Shields up is basically we're putting up our shield with protective force for us with maintenance. You want to guess what it is? If you said protein, you would absolutely be correct. And literally, how many of you could have a PhD on being like, okay, I've got to get my protein in? But it's really prioritizing that lean, high protein at every meal. I just got back from New York City. I took my kid up. We went literally yesterday. I got back yesterday. If you're watching this is a Saturday, I'm filming it. I got back on Friday. We left at 4:30 a.m. We came home at 10:30 p.m. at night. Took my kid to New York City. He earned it for some hard work that he did. And while we were there, when we were leaving, I was like, we're gonna get nachos, right? You would think nachos is not conducive for weight loss or for a health journey, but it actually is, because I really wanted these nachos. My calories were good at that point. And so I was thinking the point of the shield was, how can we make the nachos have a little bit more protein? Not for my kid. My kid was the one that said that. And my kid said it in a healthy, beautiful way. He's like, I want the beans on it, Mom, because it's got good protein for my muscles. I'm like, y'all, I was about ready to cry. He wanted also some meat on it too. And then he's like, actually, I don't want the meat. I just want a lot of beans because of the protein, because of the muscles. And y'all, like, what a gift. What a gift that this is teaching my kid also about healthy nutrition lifestyle, not diet culture, but how can we make our muscles stronger? How can we make our cells better? Lean protein prioritized with that at every single meals, even with nachos, because it helps with fullness. It's going to help with fullness, and how your healthcare provider dictates your dosages and things like that is going to be up to your healthcare provider. And so with that tweaking, you may have less of a dosage, less amount, because you're not going to be in this calorie deficit mode. So staying full is going to be very important. Having that protective shield for you, and maybe you've been more hungry than you need to be because you're not eating enough protein, but also helping to build and maximize that muscle mass loss. If you've lost muscle, I can tell from my booty, it looks like flapjack booty. It does. I'm like, it's a pancake. It's a pancake in the back. It used to be like a gadonk, and now it's just a ledge. It's something I'm actively working on, and I say that to make fun of myself, to add a little humor, but also because of the muscle mass loss component. For me, it is a very clear visual thing that I can see that there's not a lot of muscle back in that caboose, and I got to build it up. My arms are so much stronger from lifting, but literally having that protective shield with helping with muscle mass loss with protein. And we know muscle mass loss doesn't just happen with GLP-1 weight loss, it happens with any kind of weight loss. So 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal is what I'm striving for, sometimes more than that. Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. I don't really like cottage cheese, but if you want to, that could be helpful for you. Fish, poultry, lean protein, things like that. Would be very, very helpful to help have that fullness. Help also, again, when we have more muscle, what happens? When we have more muscle, what happens? That muscle helps us also burn more calories because muscle is burning those calories more so when we are activating that, right? And I did a whole episode on it, on the scientific background with that. So go watch that one down below. Did you guys hear Wilma and Fred? Literally, I don't know who's out there, but they're defending our house greatly. So forgive me. Do you guys hear that? It is a dog fight going on out there. Okay, the next thing that we need to lean into, number 2 in our framework for our house, pushing past the distraction of my dog barking outside so loudly it's so distracting, is GLP-1 mimic. The GLP-1 mimic is actually going to be fiber. The fiber is going to help you, it pushes through, GLP-1 has gastric emptying. Having that fiber in there helps to mimic that. It's the increase of soluble and insoluble fiber intake. Where do we get that from? What makes the best sense with insoluble fiber and fiber for you? For me, and I did a whole episode on it with Dietitian, like 13 high fiber foods that I didn't know. I was like, oh, wow, that's really helpful to add into my repertoire for fiber, is 25 grams of fiber for women per day. That is a lot. Are you hitting that on a daily basis? Be honest. Be honest. I know it is an effort for me. I aim for protein first, but that is an effort for me. Fiber acts as the slow gastric emptying, like Zepbound does, like Tirzepatide does, and it helps to stabilize blood sugar, promote healthy digestion, and make us feel fuller longer. Notice how the protein does that. We have our protein shield making us feel fuller longer, and our fiber shield to make us feel fuller longer. That is key, my friends. Those 2 hinge pins in our Tirzepatide framework, those 2 right there, if that is all that you do, you are a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, figuratively and literally. So with that, having that fiber, you can lean into plant-based sources like beans, like my kid did on his nachos, lentils, whole grains like oats, quinoa, and non-starchy vegetables. It helps, by the way, that is an easy peasy way that you can control your maintenance. How much fiber are you having per day? How much protein are you having per day, right? And then, of course, the calorie management within that too. And some people that can be very triggering still, even after losing weight. And we'll talk about that later. Number 3, the next big thing is just add more water. Simply, if that is what you do, and that's all you're focusing on this week, you don't do anything else. It's like, I'm going to drink, I don't know, 60 ounces of water, 100 ounces of water, whatever your pleasure is. For me, I like to refill my 40-ounce tumbler thrice. And that is noticeable fullness for me, noticeable. I was on an airplane yesterday we left to go to the airport. We got up at 4:30 a.m. to New York City and then came home. So I was on 2 airplanes yesterday. I am so dehydrated today. I feel like a prune. I will be having more of this in my cup today, and my electrolytes, absolutely having more of my electrolytes. This video is not sponsored by Element, but I do have free Element sticks with any stick purchase. I'll link that in the description, as is a ton of my other solutions and tools down in the description too. So having more, drinking water, like if that's just the tunnel vision of like, you don't want to do like heavy lifting. If you just simply focus in on that for your framework, that is going to help you with maintenance. Or if you're not in maintenance yet, right? And I always like to think with the end in mind. What does the end in mind look like? What would I act like if I was in maintenance? What would I act like if I did have the body that I want in terms of muscle? Because right now it's not about being skinny. For me, it's about, not that I want to be jacked, but kind of, I want to be very femininely muscular. Femininely muscular. What would I act like to be femininely muscular? What would I do? What would my habits be? How would I sleep? How would I walk? How would I talk? What would be the actions that would contribute to that framework? What would that look like? And that's what I want you to ask yourself too is, what would that look like if I was that? How would I reframe what I'm actively doing right now, right? And for me, this is something, my heart is heavy because I realize in my areas, I've got a lot of strengths, but I've got some deficits that I need to work on to help make my foundation and my house for my framework for long-term lifestyle changes. And we talk about that all the time of there's two, Eli Lilly, if you're on Zepbound and Mounjaro, or if you're on Tirzepatide compound. But having Eli Lilly tells us in the literature, we've got to change two lifestyle changes, our eating habits and our physical activity. What are we doing to best support that? Next, number 4 in our framework is mindful eating. This is probably one of the hardest aspects for me with GLP-1, particularly if the medication doses change. Because for me, when the medication dosage changes, for me, it changes my brain. My brain has that silencing with food noise. And if I reduce the dosage or lengthen the time in which I have the dosage, my brain, for me, Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping, changes. And so muting that food noise, if I'm not having that with the medication, that for me was like one of the hinge pins to my success, is this brain up here literally is different than other normal people's, because normal is a dishwasher setting, normal people's brains. And so figuring out how to do this is the other big thing of practicing mindfulness with the medication. Not that I'm getting off the medication, because y'all ask me all the time, do you have plans to get off the medication? No, I have no plans with the information I have right now. And that obviously can change as information changes, but the information I have right now, maintenance for me is not stopping, because we know 70% of people who stop the medication gain the weight back. 30% are the exception to the rule, and if you are the exception to the rule, I love that for you. But that is I have seen it over and over and over and over and over and over. I've had the blessing of being in front of thousands and thousands of people, particularly in my free encouragement group, and hearing people being like, I gained the weight back, I gained the weight back. Or not all the weight, but maybe I've heard many a time, I've already gained back 10 pounds in maintenance. I've already gained back 15 pounds in maintenance. And for me, somebody who's lost over 113 pounds, that is scary, berry. That is scary, berry. So mindful eating, putting my fork down in between bites, chewing thoroughly. Y'all, I've heard that since I was in elementary school. So for me, that's like, but actually practicing it, am I practicing it? And mindful eating and being mindful with my food is something I still have to untangle and unravel, because one doesn't get 300 pounds overweight without having some sort of not great relationship, but perspective with food. That's the picture I wanted to show. Because the woman on the right who weighed over 300 pounds in that picture, I just want to give her a big hug, because she did not have the ability or the mindfulness component at all. And now I've worked really, really hard on that, and I still have to work really hard on that. You feel me? You feel me? Number 5, we've talked a lot about resistance training, so I'm not going to deep dive too much into that. I'm going to make number 5 resistance training. I've deep dived into that. I'm not going to do that on this episode, but so that's 5A. If 5B in our framework house would be, it's called NEAT. NEAT is an acronym of non-exercise movement factor. The accountant and I have battled over this one, because my husband, I met him when he was 19, I was 18. We met at a keg stand party at James Madison University. Go Duke Dogs. We're at a keg party. That's literally how I met my hot husband. I'm like, you're tall, let's talk. So I don't know if I've ever told you guys that story. My husband has always fidgeted. He's always wiggled. He's always shakes. Like he just like his leg shakes. Not fidgeting like Tourette's, but like fidgeting like he just fidgets. Like he just shakes his leg all the time. I'm like, can you please? I'm trying to think. Like when I'm trying to like in-depth think, I can't have distractions. Like it's very distracting to have someone shaking their leg continuously. But did you know people who fidget actually burn tons more calories in a non-impact, or excuse me, in a low impact way? And that keeps their calorie expenditure higher. I said, he's been right all this time. My husband, when he saw this, there was a science-based article. I don't have it to cite my source on it, so forgive me. But my husband and I were cracking up. He's like, I've been right all the time. I'm like, you have been. Simply just by doing these NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's called NEAT. non-exercise activity thermogenesis, of where you're fidgeting, you're walking, you're standing. So having these like stand-up desks, having low impact walking stations while you're working. I have underneath my desk an elliptical thing at my desk. When I edit videos, sometimes I'll do that. Taking calls and walking with a headset on, doing 10,000 steps a day by tracking them, parking 5 minutes, parking really far away in a parking lot and going to the grocery store, doing a 5-minute movement break every hour. Oh, it's noon, 5-minute break. Oh, it's 1 p.m., 5-minute break. That is part of this NEAT concept, which we talked about in another video. If you didn't see it, it was on the snack exercises. It's on bite size, 2 to 5 minutes, vigorous boosts of exercise, how important those are. Next framework in our house, super, super important, is sleep. You guys know I talk about magnesium breakthrough all the time from Bioptimizer's magnesium breakthrough because it has 7 types of magnesium, but sleep because of sleep hormone disturbances. There's a sabotage in your sleep. It's called ghrelin. It's the hunger hormone, and leptin, the satiety hormone. They literally make you crave high calorie foods when you have poor sleep. Get good sleep, right? And I know that to be true. I know that to be true when I weighed a lot. My son, I was not sleeping with a little kid, and I thought having a newborn, I wasn't going to sleep, but I thought by the time my kid was 2 or 3, I would sleep, and I did not. My toddler woke up multiple times frequently throughout the night and for years. And so I did not sleep well during that time. I wish I had known now what I know. So if you've got people who've got young children, it is hard when you have young children in particular, because of that ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and leptin, the satiety hormone. They do increase, and you you crave high calorie foods when you don't sleep. I know that to be facts, like facts for me. That definitely kicks in major. And I'm like, maybe I have like an overdrive on that. Like I feel like it's way more than the average bear, but sleep is one of our action components. Okay, this is one of the biggest hormone components that I absolutely think in our framework, and I left it till the end because I think it's so critical, and I probably will do a separate video on it because it's that in depth. Y'all know I'm a data nerd. It's how I've grown 3 multi-million-dollar businesses by scratch, is through data feedback. Having weekly looping feedback to come in, because when we have looping feedback, we can make action-based decisions on that weekly looping feedback. It's having some sort of consistent check-in with yourself. For me, that looks like on the scale daily, pretty much daily. When I don't do daily is when I notice signs of sabotage coming up. Doing measurements, I have one of those scales that you can hold your hands on it, and then it measures also like a ton of stuff in there. You can get cheap ones on Amazon. You can get the expensive one I have. I have both of them. I recommend both of them depending on your price point. The more expensive one obviously has more bells and whistles. You can't afford that, then the other one on my Amazon shopping list is also equally amazing. But having these weekly data loops are going to give you feedback so you can change your behavior. It will give for you personalized information of like, oh, okay, my fat percentage, my body, my lean muscle mass, is it going up because lean muscle mass, right? I want my muscle to increase. So is that number going up? Is my percentage body fat going down, right? Like what are the numbers in this data? That is helping me way more than just a number on the scale. Although the scale does matter in some capacity, but I feel like there's so much of an emphasis on that that's very frustrating. And for us in maintenance or on a weight loss journey, having these factors way more matters. Way matters a lot more. And weighing yourself at the same time, I know you know that. I feel like if you if you've weighed a substantial amount, like you know all the weighing tips. We could write a book on how to weigh ourselves, couldn't we? Right? Just make sure in my free encouragement group, if you post a picture of your scale, that you're not naked, because that glass will reflect off your chi-chi, and I don't want to see that. I've seen too many chi-chis in my day. It's true. So I'm like, you don't see that glass reflection, do you, honey? I do. And delete. So if you ever get your video to like, it's probably because you're probably not seeing something I do. Or somebody had a, I'm not making, well, I'm not trying to make fun. I find it funny and not make, because I am laughing because I've done it before. Someone had a picture in the back, like their panty, like their booty was hanging out. It was like a mullet, business in the front, party in the back. I'm like, I can see your cheeky weekies. Like, I don't think you want your cheeky weekies to be exposed. but I'm trying to do this body video, and it has in there part of the body. It's coming up. It's tasteful. And it's on brand. There's shower component in there, and I talk about how that's important for the weight loss. You'll see the video. The accountant and I had so much discussion on it. I'm like, that shower scene. What if? I was like, my husband's like, just wear a bathing suit in the shower. Like, just wear a bathing suit in the shower, and that will prevent any cheeky weekies, loosey gooseys, any sort of reflections from showing off of the glass, or like we have chrome, not chrome, it's like muted chrome, any sort of reflection. He's like, just wear the bathing suit. I'm like, I'm just gonna wear the bathing suit. You'll see it, and I think it'll be coming out later this week. I forget when it's coming out. It's coming out though, because we've talked about it in depth, and it's a video I've really, really wanted to talk about. Anyways, I digress. How did I get off on topic on cheeky weekies? Talking about data loop feedback. That was a really big squirrel moment. It was important. It was the most important, one of the most important hinge pins in our Y'all, I need some more coffee. I took my kid to New York City yesterday. I'm tired. The secret is the data feedback loop, because it's going to give you immediate course of change. What happened this week? What happened today? And I'm not talking the weight. I'm talking about these other data. And do you want to know the data components? I'll do a whole video on it if you like. I can do it in my updated weight loss weigh-in video. But, and then one of the bonus ones that I always like to say is have your Avengers team. Avengers assemble! Shields! Avengers assemble! Who's on your Avengers team? If you don't got one, you might want to get one. You should have a team around you. I don't want to shit on you, but you should. And I hope I'm part of that team. I love when you guys say I'm a part of your Avengers team. I'm always like, thanks, you're part of mine too. It makes me feel so good. But having a professional and personal team. Y'all, I got a therapist for a reason. My besties don't want to hear, you see what I'm saying? Like, maybe paying for some of that, paying for, and there's free services too, by the way, for therapists that you don't necessarily have to pay for too. Having a dietitian. I use Join Fridays, use the discount code QUEEN. You can get GLP-1 plus GIP or GLP-1 medication from them. Like there's a ton of, like Join Fridays they are the industry experts in my humble opinion. I have worked with them for over 2 years. I'll link that down below, but they have dietitian services included in that when you get your medication. It's included in that. So why would we not, if you're not utilizing that, just go to get the first session as an hour. Literally, I took copious amounts of notes. I was writing notes so vigorously, my hand was about ready to fall off. I mean, it was just so much information, which is why I love and recommend it. Okay, so in conclusion, to wrap this up in a little ball, honey, this is going to be a learning journey. And it may be on your maintenance, you do gain 5 pounds. Don't worry, don't fret, my pet. You're on a journey. And I'm saying this also to myself too as I go along this journey. It's going to ebb and flow. And that is how we learn, right? The data is going to give us, and I always like to go into it of having a non-emotional response, because so long my weight was such an emotional trigger for me. Now taking that away, that is really important. And so some of these frameworks in the house, you may need to work harder than others, but literally just focusing this week on water. Maybe that, like, it sounds so simple, and it's like, how, if it's that simple, how could it be so pivotal? It is for me. Oh, let me focus in just on eating more lean proteins. Oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Like there's changes, and I'm curious to hear yours today. I'm curious to hear yours today. One of the ones I will be doing today, I have a ton of stuff. We're doing my son's soccer game, family stuff today, or meeting with my dad and my stepmom. And so one of them I will be doing is the NEAT. What was that stand for again? It was the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, of where you're getting in little workouts throughout your daily routine. I gotta go brush my teeth now because you can't smell how stinky my breath is, but it's stinky. I will be just walking around while I'm brushing my teeth. Dennis, don't worry. I'm not gonna but just like some movement while I'm brushing my teeth, like just little things like that, right? Moving just a little more, simply a little more. Tell me in the comments below what one of these you're gonna focus in on for this week, or just for today. Simply just for today, what are you going to focus in on? Maybe don't even think for the whole week, just for today. What's the focus for today? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I love you guys so much. The level of gratitude in which I have for you, if you've made it this far in the video, is immense, is huge. I would not be where I am on this weight loss journey without you. And I truly, from my family to yours, You have helped change my life. It makes me want to cry whenever I say this, but it's true. You guys have really helped change my life in terms of the emotional support to keep going, to keep doing this, because it's a daily fight for me. Going from over 300 pounds, it's not a fight now, but it's a journey and a focus that I have to have on a daily consistent basis. So thank you for being a part of that for me. If you are here right now, and even if you never comment, you never click like on the video, your presence in being here, just know I feel that. I really, really do. And if you want to be more vocal, go to the free encouragement group. I love that group so much. I love you guys. My beautiful friends, our emoji of the day today is going to be a house. That tells me that you made it this far in the video. It's also my bat signal to pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, uplift you in positive thought. If you are on your TV, go to your little phone, because I know your phone's right near you while you're watching on your TV, and put the emoji in, or just type in house. Some people are like, I can't find the emoji. Just type in house. And I'll know it's my secret. It's our secret code together. Many of you guys have been asking me about creatine. I will be doing an upcoming creatine video soon. I've been testing. She's been testing. Okay, I need to go brush my teeth. I love you guys so super much. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings, because life is delicious. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.